All right, team. So joining us on the Celebrity Couch today, we have...
Hey, Des here. Life in the Dead Zone's my current thing at the moment, which I hope you're all watching. Yeah, nice to be here.
So, how did you get involved with Life in the Dead Zone?
Life in the Dead Zone. The boys, Peter Tonks and Jake Harrell and the guys were all, and Gabe Page, were on another job in the Christchurch post-earthquake. So I get a call from Pete. Now, Peter and I have worked for years together, mainly short films. Sunshine Man is, I think, our first thing that came out 100 years ago. And Pete rings me and he goes, in typical Pete fashion, "Oh, we're going to make a film. You need to come and do it." And I thought, "Oh, you're another short film. That's cool." And he says, "We've got access to the red zone in Christchurch." I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty raw, you know." So anyway, we went down and we did a proof of concept for a weekend. Matt Sharp was DOP, Gabe and Jake and Chester, all that's the team. Got together and Stanley George was born. He just basically came out of nowhere, and we came up with a character. I wanted to make sure it wasn't deep and meaningful because Christchurch had enough crap going on already. So it's like, nah, I tell you what, let's try and take a slight angle of happiness on this. And as a result of that, it's actually been really well accepted in Christchurch. Our biggest fan base is in Christchurch.
So you've been obviously getting noticed quite a bit with Life in the Dead Zone, including nominations for Best Actor with the Ozark Mountain Web Fest,
Yep.
the New Zealand Web Fest, and recently the New Jersey Web Fest. How the hell does that feel?
Well, it feels great.
Yeah.
It feels really good. It's just fucking awesome. Because the fact is, I started as an apprentice actor at Downstage in 1983. So I've been working this job for 38 years. And I think I've had one nomination in a 48-hour competition for Best Use of the Line, which is a real Mickey nomination anyways. I've never had a serious nomination. Now, I also got one in Germany for Best Actor as well.
Oh, wow.
So that's 4 nominations in a year for a guy who's never been, I've just been doing my job. I was, only a week ago I was, extra number 422 on a Hollywood film because just no one knows who you are, even though you've been around a long time. And I'm quite happy with that. If it's making films, I mean, Peter Tonks, he is actually he had a traffic company for a long time. And so I'll go and do, I've got my traffic controllers, I'll go and do lockdown on a film set. If it's involved with making the story and making the film, I'll do it. Whether it's extra work, there's no such thing as I'm just an extra, or I'm just a traffic controller, or I'm the lead actor today. That doesn't get me in. And a lot of my colleagues might think there's something special when it comes to I'm playing the lead, and that's how you treat me. I'm not into that. I just like the industry as a whole.
Yeah. No, I can definitely relate. Working on Mega Time Squad, I was one of the leads, I suppose, or maybe the supporting cast, you might want to call it. But when we had extras and stuff on set, I interacted with them a lot, and I was like, just like me, I've been in the extra seat, and now I'm here. That doesn't make me any different. It just means that I've, grown with experience, so why should I disassociate myself with the extras? So I completely agree with what you're saying there.
There's actually no room for it. You get Hollywood, some of the biggest names in the industry that I've been fortunate enough to meet and talk to, they're just normal human beings. They shit and bleed like the rest of us. And if they've got a bit of a polish on because they think they're superhuman, that's just their insecurities. It's got nothing to do with who they actually are. They're brilliant. That's great. We're all good. I know really good builders and mechanics. They're brilliant too. They know their job really, really, really well. So to me, it's just another trade, and I don't think there's any room for hierarchy. There is, obviously, in every structure, but I personally, when I get my Academy Award, I'll just be a Kiwi bloke getting an Academy Award.
Notice he said when, not if. And I agree with that, when, not if. So obviously you tried to say it in secret before, but obviously you just done some work on Avatar recently.
Yes.
So has any besides that, has anything else sort of sprung up since playing the role of Stanley? Like, has anybody approached you and said, "Hey, we've seen you in Life in the Dead Zone. We want you to do this"?
Well, I thought the answer to that question would be no. But I have just recently had a really nice experience where an overseas director asked me to do a self-tape by name into the Auckland market, which you see, Auckland and Wellington are so far away. You know, I might as well be in New Jersey. As you notice in a lot of the market out there on the mainstream media, a lot of people are used many times because it's just that pool of people that they go to, you know. And I had this director ask for me to self-tape, and that was a really good experience, just for a commercial project, which I didn't get, but I got some massive feedback from the Auckland agencies and stuff like that. So I guess that's a result of Life in the Dead Zone. Also, Life in the Dead Zone, I've noticed my local community, people are watching it, and it's just they just recognise you and start talking out of it, you know. And when we did Armageddon in Christchurch last year, was massive. It was like they all loved Stanley, and they all just photos. It was awesome. It was a little bit of that celebrity cake that, you know, you see on TV all the time, but it was just us blokes doing it. I don't know. Some people do come up in the job and say I've seen it. Not many people know that I've been nominated. I don't go around going with a T-shirt saying I've been nominated 4 times this year. You can all fuck off.
If you did, then I'd need one that says "I'm with him."
Yeah. But people do follow us now, and I'm an old bloke when it comes to social media, but I get a lot of the New Jersey festival that we're going to now. One of the guys from the States, from his web series, which is multiple award-winning web series, he was very complimentary after Ozark, and we're catching up in New Jersey because he's become a good friend through social media, and the director of New Jersey's also contacted me, and we're talking regularly on the social media, which is, I guess that's the modern world, as we all go, yeah, hey, that's how it works, but that's also what works with web series. You see, like I've got a film coming up. We've done a really neat feature film called Black Shark. All right, and Black Shark is a failed terrorist mob out of Masterton. It's dark comedy. It's a lot of fun. I'm about 104 kgs. I'm a big boy in it. And those boys from Redface, they're incredible. I got a good run with a couple of friends after The Hobbit. Great writers, great directors, and bugger me, he's a good actor too. The main driver of Redface went off and got himself some acting nominations, and as a result, he's become famous. So I do see him occasionally, but he's just let me know that the final cut of Black Shark is out, and Black Shark will be released within the next 12 months, but it takes so long. So we shot that 2 years ago, 2 years ago, I think the memories were saying. We're at post-production status now. Could be another year, but then you've got to find a distributor, and then you've got to find your market. How many picture theatres? Film Commission were telling me a couple of days ago, there's over 400 films being released this year. So you put those into cinemas, you're fighting from square one, you're scrapping. On the web, you push send, and it's gone. It's gone. It's out there, and it's there forever. It's not like you can go, oh, hang on, bring it back. It's gone. And I love that about the web series, and that's why I think there's a real swing to web series like this. This here can be in New York in 2 minutes. The people that follow me in New York, they'll watch this. And that's what I love about it. We're not fighting with a distributor or doing a deal with Film Commission or trying to scratch the funding to get into a theatre. It's already out there. Too late. It's there. I'm here. Too bad. And I love that about the web series media and the web process, and it's instant. It's also, if you screw it up, it's instant. I've put some pretty bad posts in my time, and you pay for it. It's like, oops, I can't get rid of that. Delete, delete, delete. No, it's gone. It's out there, son.
So going back to Life in the Dead Zone, what was the most memorable moment?
The most memorable moment for me was we were in this house. It was another, because Peter's trade is locations manager, so that's why we had access to these incredibly shaken up, destroyed, and anyone from Christchurch will know exactly that turmoil is massive. It's not just the furniture was falling over; it's destroyed. And we went into the space. Now I have spent many years, because actors have a lot of spare time. There's two things I'm passionate about: the weather and making models. Okay, because the weather's free, just look out the window, and models you can spend thousands of hours doing something this big, and it's all detail. So we're filming in this place, and we're working away, and we're going through a bit of process. And Matt goes up, does a bit of recce of the house, and he comes back and he's holding a little model railway building, and he says, "Oh, this is I found this upstairs. Is this the sort of thing that you do?" And I went, "What? Let's have a look." Went upstairs, and now I know how much a model railway means to the person who's created it. And there were just bits of this railway. There were locos and buildings. And the layout had gone, but bits, remnants had still remained. And I thought, wow, that's shattered. That's destroyed. I've got a shed full of models. And if they were all on the floor, I'd just, I'd be destroyed. And I really remember thinking then, well, and feeling for what the people went through. I mean, seeing the visual destruction, we are exposed to that sort of visual all the time on TV. We see places, you'll see places tonight, I think Spain's underwater at the moment, you'll see that. But to actually be in a place where it's actually happened was quite a surreal moment, and it was hard sometimes when you were making comedy, and we actually went to a person's property who was living on the red zone still in one of our scenes, and she's lovely, and we were actually relating to her as if it was a real thing, because she didn't have that reality. She thought I was from the city council. One of the things we had to do at the end of our interview is I had to take a dog for a walk because she needed the dog to be walked, So it was like, even though Dead Zone seems so surreal, it was actually a real thing that was happening at the time. And we just added a zombie because, it's a bro flick, looking after Mickey D, it's a bro flick. And zombies just happen to be part of it. And if the zombies had been dangerous, there's no way Stanley would have let the crew come along. But it escalates, as we know.
If you want to see an interview 2 with Des, then hashtag interview 2 with Des.
Yep.
All right, so moving away from Life in the Dead Zone.
Yep.
So what was involved in being Dory's picture double for The Hobbit?
Oh, yes, you've done your research. So this was an amazing experience because I am same height, same body shape as Mark Hadlow. Mark Hadlow and I've known each other. He's a great man, and I got called up and fitted. I had to be 5'8.5", had to be certain, and I was quite heavy at that point. And he's fit as fuck, So he's not big in any way, and we're not big people. I've got tiny feet, tiny hands, and we went down, and we were basically treated like second cast. So it was amazing. Stone Street's one of my favourite places in the planet. And when you walk in, and people are nice to me, even doing this extra work the other day, people know you, and that's really cool. But when you're going in and you've got a different coloured tag, or you've got different accesses going on, we were very fortunate. I remember we got to read the script of Hobbit. So we could actually read the shooting script. So we knew the story that we were at. We did a little bit of, a lot of training. Picture doubles, there's also, obviously there's your stunt doubles, there's your scale doubles, the smaller guys, and there's your riding doubles and stuff like that. So there were a lot of double crews out there, and we did end up sort of not being utilised because we weren't riding doubles. So that matter went out the window because the only hobbits they get off their horses and they go into the scene. So they're actors and the riding doubles. So we were up there for about 6 weeks, which was quite a strange experience. Going to the gym every morning, and obviously the secrecy was huge. We'd go to the gym. One of the funniest stories that came out of that was we're at the gym, and eventually one of the local women sort of came up to me and said, "What are you guys up to?" You know, so I don't really want to tell you. It's top secret. "Oh no, what are you doing? What are you up to?" And I said, "Oh look, we're a male review. We've come from our town. We're just training under the radar." She went, "What?" And the guy playing Bomba was a big boy, right? She goes, "But he's huge." And I said to her, "Oh look, there are women out there who love the big guys." And she's like, "Right," and then disappeared. This is in Cambridge, so Cambridge is about this big, you know. And yeah, we were spoiled. We had money coming out our ears with per diems as well as our wages. We were going home, and so we'd go to the pub at night, and you'd see these people going, review. So totally no idea that we were part of the Hobbit, because we never, apart from going to set to have lunch, we weren't working on the set much there, you know. I think there was one stage where we did a bit of a walk, but you know, it was a very strange. Then we relocated to Ruapehu, and that's too dangerous. So that was stunt doubles. So we actually relocated. We actually came home after that. We actually finished our first stint at that point. But they were amazing. It's an amazing thing. You know, we talk about hierarchy and stuff like that. The best thing that came out of the Hobbit was my mate Kieran Charnock, who is Redface. That was when we met. And that's when we became friends. And then he, post Hobbit, he's obsessive filmmaker. Like he did a thing called Fortnight Films for a while, where they just churned out a film every fortnight because he wanted to get the process in his skin and just get it going. He's definitely one not to sit around and wait for things to happen. And then they started writing these things for me. There's if you go to Redface, have a look at it. There's a thing called Scum, which is pretty incredible. Scum was shot one take, and I rehearsed 70% of the film. I rehearsed, but at one point I go to drug house, and so we never rehearsed that drug house. So I knock on the door and I walk in to this house that I've never been in. It's incredible. And it's quite amazing. Very dark. But he was Kieran was exploring the whole shooting in one go, like travelling with and it was quite incredible. So Scum's one worth looking at. The first one I did with him, which is interesting because it was called A Fields of Aphrodite, and I'd known Kieran, but I didn't know he was a writer. Turn up on this, I get this script, and it's brilliant. I turn up on set and I say to Kieran, "Oh, this script's incredible. Who wrote it?" And he looked at me and went, "I did." I went, "Oh crap, here we go. This guy's good." And so yeah, so they were really good. So out of the Hobbit came that friendship with Redface, and we all know it's about who you know. You know, you can know a lot. I know a lot, although I know way too much. But it's not got a thing to do if you haven't got anyone who wants to employ you, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a big one in New Zealand. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Mm.
Yeah. So can you tell us about the process of being a reporter for King Kong? Did you have any lines with that one?
No. King Kong was a funny one because I had a contract with Weta as a model maker. So I was on set as the reporter, and because of the family that was around me, as in the crew that knew me, in the final scene where Jack Black's looking at the monkey and he disappears into the crowd, Jack Black didn't disappear into the crowd. That was a long way away. So they said, just walk to Des, go behind him. So I would fold back. He'd go behind me and stand behind me, back into my back. He just disappeared. So that's when you're known. I mean, whether you're known as a good extra or an actor, People will use you, and that was using that thing. I was in New York on set out at Seaview for many, many cold hours, dark hours, which is great because I'm going to be in New York next week for real. And it'll be the first time I'm actually in the city, and I'll go, oh, that's not authentic. I've seen authentic. It's a big ape. Got to come down here. But yeah, I didn't have... there was a little bit of ad-lib at the start, but in typical featured extra thing, they don't use it. There's a little bit of trashing of the stills at the start of the film that I'm in there. You can hear a squeak in the background. You know, people sort of know that, you know. But yeah, it's one of those things. I actually made models. I made a lot of the components of the boat, the ship, which was an incredible model, brilliantly modeled by a number of people. And I made the life raft on that, which is, yeah, it's just another thing. If it's making films, it's making films.
I suppose, you know, listening to that story, there's an essence of me that really, really, really hates you now. How do you get that close to my favourite actor, Jack Black? I'm not impressed.
Yeah, well.
My dream is to work with Jack Black and Peter Jackson.
See, Peter and I, obviously we've been in the same pool for a long time. He probably doesn't know me from... Oh, he probably does. He goes, Des, shut up, Des. I had a couple of good things. I love Pete. He is, I'm not blowing steam up his ass, but we have Hollywood here. So when I started acting, everybody went, oh, what's wrong with you? Right? Now my kids go into the film industry and people go, yeah, cool. Because it's a real job. It's a real job because Peter has developed Hollywood down the road. And then James has come in and he's found out how good this country is for it. So it's no longer an artistic wanky flair to want to be an actor. You can be an actor in this country, and you can do an audition on a self tape. So you can be auditioning in Hollywood whether you like it or not. The scope is so good now, you know. One of the things I did was, this is my favourite Peter Jackson story, and I'm sure he won't mind me telling you this. Was I worked at a model shop for many years, and Peter, you know, likes his models, obviously. And I'm in this model shop in Johnsonville, and I'm working away, and Peter walks in. And I say, oh, hey, Peter, how you going? Thinking, oh, yeah, this is the greatest director in New Zealand right now. Comes in, and he says, oh, yeah. I said, would you like a cup of coffee? And I'll just let you go. Because he doesn't want people in his ear. He wants to be left alone. He's out there in public. Everyone's wanting to talk to him. I mean, one day I might know how that feels. But anyway, so I said, do you want a cup of coffee? He said, no, I can't drink coffee, but I wouldn't want a cup of tea. So I gave him a cup of tea, and he just disappeared into the shop, into the shelves, and it was really cool. And it was really cool. I didn't want to hassle him. That's not the place. But these young kids came in, and there's a war game system that it's a war game where you make the weapons, and it's called Flames of War. And talking to these children about this, and I said, one of the things that's good is, like, there's a German gun called an 88mm gun. But you can only have 2 in the game because they're so good. If you have more than 2, they obliterate everything. All right? So that's the rules. Anyway, they bought some stuff and they walked on. And Peter pops up from behind this bookshelf. And it always seemed like a puppet. He just popped up. And it's like, and he's got this look on his face, which is the essence of Peter Jackson, is he's having fun. He's a child living his dream. Right? And he goes, oh, Des, do you like 88s? And I went, yeah. He says, I've got one. I said, what? Good model? He goes, no, I've got a real one. And I remember going, holy shit, really? And he said, yeah, I've got it down at Omaka. I fired off during the you know. And he says, and I've got a Tiger tank and a Panzer II. And I just at that stage got because I drive trucks as well, because you do everything. And I had got my tracks, wheels and rollers. And I said to him, oh, look, hey, I've just got my tracks, wheels and rollers. And he goes, oh, you should come and drive tanks with me down south. And I went, yes, that would be good. But then I said, look, I know, Peter, that you're incredibly busy and everyone talks to you. Can I write on the back of this card, my name, you know, that we've had this conversation, and give the card? He goes, yeah, good idea. I never heard from him, but it was the most amazing conversation. And then, you know, not about film, not about the hours we've spent together on film sets. I was on Mortal Engines recently, and I was doing a stand-in job, and Peter walked past and he looked at me and we connected, and he's like, how the fuck do I know you? You know, I'm going, probably because of Model Shop, not because of my 4 best acting odds this year. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with models, you know, and enjoying ourselves. So, you know, he's made the film industry, and it's only going to grow from there. So, but that's my favourite Peter story.
And with that in mind, it's been great to have you as part of this film, entertaining interviews. Just want to see if there's anything final that you'd like to say before we conclude.
Hey, no, but do catch us on, follow me. Come and follow me on Des Morgan and Facebook and Instagram, and watch us through with this, and watch the development of Life in the Dead Zone. Series 2 is this close. So, yeah, thank you for watching us today. Thank you for having us today. And enjoy this series, and enjoy anything that's coming up that we're doing.
Now, if you want to see me take Season 3 on the road, potentially in Auckland, where I have some awesome contacts, then jump over to our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/entertaininginterviews. And around that page, you will see a link on how you can support this channel to be able to make that happen. Hopefully you enjoyed Entertaining Interview Season 2. We had a whole ball of fun filming it. Once again, huge shout out to Tony McDonald from Plastic Groove for the venue, and also for the audio engineering, one of our major sponsors, and our other major sponsor, Tim Simpson from Nitro Film, for sponsoring us with the gear. So, like I said, jump over to our Facebook page, check it out, jump in and help us out, take Season 3 on the road, and hopefully we'll be seeing you guys again very soon.